Hey, hi, hello. My name is Brendan, aka Nova. Welcome to my channel, Nova Does, and today we're going to be talking about the Booktube Newbie Tag. So let's just jump right into it. Question 1. Why did I start this channel? So I started this channel to basically hold myself accountable to reading at least one physical book a month. I do a lot of audiobooks, and I wanted to start doing physical books. So I told myself I'm going to read a book and I'm going to talk about it. And in order to hold myself accountable to that, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and I'm going to talk about it with people online. All right, question 2. What are some funny, unique things that I can bring to Booktube? So again, I'm really new to reading. So I think I bring the perspective from someone who doesn't read a lot or really ever. So I'm open to anything, willing to try a bunch of stuff. I play a lot of games and I do a lot of art. So I guess I bring that perspective to it. But I'm super new and I'm trying to find my way. Question 3. What are you most excited for about this channel? I'm super excited to meet people that really love books because I have found that I have thoroughly enjoyed them. I just don't know much about authors or different types of books. I've been really into the fantasy genre, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I just joined the community. I'm kind of on Reddit. I've been through the booktube and kind of gotten ideas on different books to read. But I'm just excited to meet new people and get recommendations on cool books to read. That's kind of what I'm the most excited for. Question 4. Why do you love reading? So again, I come from an art background and I've loved the idea of creating worlds. So I think that's what draws me to fantasy is the world building. I always wanted to draw and paint worlds. So it felt like going from art to video games, which is you playing through a world, books, which is you basically reading along. Like it forces your mind to create, this world that the author has written. It's all about the worlds and the characters and all of that for me. I love the idea of world building and creating something from scratch. So when I started reading, it kind of blew my mind. The amount of stuff that you can come up with and amazing authors do, it's actually incredible. So I love reading because I love the idea of creating worlds and creating compelling characters. Question 5. What book or series got you into reading? So I've read a few books, that I liked, but I never really got into reading because of them. I would say the book that got me into reading was Mistborn. I watched a booktuber, Daniel Green. He talked so much about how great Mistborn was, and I said, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. And I picked it up, and it hooked me. That book is amazing. And it was a great introduction into fantasy by Brandon Sanderson, and then I went to the Stormlight Archive, which hooked me even more, and I escalated. I went to the Wheel of Time, and I couldn't stop. I burned through the Stormlight Archive and the Wheel of Time in 2019. So I had them on audiobooks, and I went to work, and I just played it for 8 hours, just nonstop. I stopped for breaks. That was really it. I burned through them, and that Mistborn was a series that got me into it. Brandon Sanderson as an author was the reason I got back into reading. Question, I think we're on 6. What questions would you ask to your favorite booktubers? So I think my biggest question about booktube, or for the booktubers, is what made you just go, you know what? I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. Like what made you go from reading about, reading your favorite stories to making a booktube channel and talking to all these people online about books? That was my biggest question. Like I watch a lot of booktubers and I see their perspectives on stuff. It's just, what made you do it? What made you say, you know what? I'm going to do it. Question 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So I think for me, it's going to be making videos at a steady rate. Because I don't, like I said, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I want to read more physical books. So I think it's going to be hard to put out consistent content because I don't complete books very quickly. Like, I'll complete an audiobook because I'm at work and I can listen to it 8 hours. But when I come home, I can't read for 8 hours because I don't have all that time. So I'm going to be reading, hopefully, 2 books a month. So I'll have one that I'm physically reading, and then I'll have an audiobook that I'm listening to at work, which I will most likely complete faster depending on the book. Some of them are very, very long, and some of them are really short. But putting out consistent videos talking about my thoughts on books and stuff like that, that's probably going to be the hardest thing for me. Finding the time to finish books so that I can talk about them. Other than that, I'm just in it to have fun. I just want to meet some people and talk about books and get some recommendations on stuff and have a good time. Question 8. When did you start reading? I guess the obvious answer is, well, I don't know. When do you learn to read? Kindergarten, first grade. But when did I get back into reading? I would say last year, honestly. Like, if you look at my bookshelf, not many books there. And granted, I've listened to a lot of audiobooks, so I want to get the whole Wheel of Time collection. I'm currently reading Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. I'm about halfway done with that. I should be done with that in, I don't know, a week or so. Like 200 pages left. It's not much. But 2019, or late 2018, I would say, when I really got back into it. I got hooked is when I read Mistborn and went through. I just started knocking them out. I couldn't help it. Question 9. I believe it's 9. What kind of books do you like to read? So I'm super into fantasy right now. Like, head down, I am all into fantasy right now. But I do like sci-fi. Like, Starsight is more sci-fi fantasy than, obviously, Wheel of Time. But I started in fantasy. Like I said, I went through Mistborn and then Stormlight Archive, and then Wheel of Time I burned through, which is super fantasy. I read the Black Prism, which is really fantasy. It was another recommendation by Daniel Green. I've gone through a lot. Let me go through the books I've at least gotten through on Audible. Like I said, Mistborn, the Mistborn series, The Stars Are Legion, Stormlight Archive, a sci-fi book called Artemis, which was really good. Wheel of Time. We went through the first book of the Malazan series. The Malazan series, the first book I liked, but I was so confused. I'm still confused on what I read in that book. I went through the Aeronauts Windlass, the Black Prism series, the Red Rising series, which I really enjoyed, the Rage of Dragons, which I really, really, really enjoyed. It was a great book. And I'm currently listening to Warbreaker. I heard a lot of good things about that. On top of, I'm also reading Starsight. So, it's fantasy, sci-fi, and I'm open to anything. Like, I've never been a big history buff, but I am open to historical books. I'm open to anything. I'm curious about a lot of things. I've seen a lot of booktubers talk about different books, and I said I might not have been interested in it, but at the same time, I'm open to anything. One more question. I actually went back through the video and realized I forgot a question. So I think this is the real question 9. Where do you read? So I read in my bed once right before I go to sleep. I listen to the audiobooks on the way to work, while at work, and on the way home. And when I just want to chill and it's not time to go to bed, I read right here. I have a chair here and a chair here. I tend to just read, kick up my feet, relax. If I'm not on my computer, if I'm not playing a game, if I those are really the places I read. In bed, in these chairs, and I listen to the audiobooks on the way to work, while at work, and on my way home. Anytime I'm in the car, really. So, yeah, I think that's it for the Booktube Newbie Tag. I appreciate everyone coming through. Let me know, how the video went and critique it. I'm open to suggestions. Again, I'm new to this. I don't really do YouTube. So, again, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time when I talk about my thoughts on Starsight and Warbreaker. Appreciate it. Peace.